Hey guys, and welcome back for another episode of NTom and Volk's Spot of PC. We're going to do you another Bullfrog Productions game today with Theme Hospital. Volk, what's your particular challenge for today, mate? What part of the game are we covering?
We are covering the final level in just about its entirety. And I say just about because, well, the final level is very, very lengthy, so towards the end, it's just going to be a slog to cure patients and earn money. So the idea will be to complete the final level and become the lord of all hospitals.
Nice. Was that the dungeon keeper I saw back there in the waiting room?
Yep, that is the Horned Reaper with a dart in his eye.
Nice.
And of course he's playing Dungeon Keeper with a controller, which I'm not sure how the hell he's doing that, but impressive nonetheless.
Oh man, these graphics, I'm nostalgic-gasming right now.
I always like the intro for this for some bizarre reason. Out the way, woman!
It's not quite Scrubs, but I'll live.
Indeed. But yeah, it's really weird because the resolution of the intro is different from the resolution of the game, so it caused all sorts of headaches recording this. But I wanted to get it in there because chainsaw surgery? Come on, who doesn't want some of that?
Where did this guy get his medical license from?
Cereal box, clearly.
Oh, of course.
And of course, we've got to reject him. He doesn't have enough money in his credit card.
Is this fucking Sweeney Todd or something? Lovely transition, by the way.
Thank you. So, here we go. We're going to make a vast amount of dosh, have an incredible reputation, buy all the land, and cure everything, and they mean everything, and win all the awards.
So we basically have to cover the entire planet in one singular hospital in order to pass this?
Pretty much, yes. We have an immense amount of land to buy as well, so they're expecting you to build something pretty big, especially if they're asking you to have $750,000 in your pocket. So here we go. We're just going to start up by building a little bit of a bare-bones hospital, but we're going to do some transitions, so we'll show some of the important buildings getting built and things like that, and you'll get to see the hospital develop in somewhat real time.
Now, obviously we're playing the PC version of the game. Did you play, any other version growing up? Because I had the PS1 version of the game.
No, I've always been with the PC on this particular one. Just because I did see any reason to earn the PlayStation one at that point.
Are we going to be naming these doctors, nurses, etc. after HFC peeps, or is it predetermined?
It is predetermined as far as I know, but also it's a headache, especially when you start getting like a billion doctors all in different places. Maybe we can just see if some of the patients come and think, yeah, that's probably him.
Hang on, is that doctor in the bottom right just the friggin' theme park guy?
Yep, it is the theme park guy, but obviously he is wearing hospital clothes. Obviously, the theme park business didn't go too well for him at a later point, so he had to pick up another job.
Bingo Highway's a cruel master.
Well, Margaret Thatcher's still strong in this, so don't worry. There'll be some returning characters in this particular game.
Okay, so I see we've made an office there. What's this room we're building now?
This is a general diagnosis room. Basically, if your GP can't figure out what the hell's wrong with it, they'll send you to this place. And they'll have all your basic stuff like catheters and things like that, and they'll just give you a little bit of a check over.
Yeah, just turn your head and cough, it's all good.
If they can't work it out from the get-go, this will be the place people will normally go, but later on you also get more diagnosis rooms to find some of the later diseases more accurately. So you'll get like X-ray rooms, ultra scans, things like that, and a blood machine, which is always nice and friendly.
I love the Kit Kat vending machine.
Yeah, that's always struck me as a bit weird. It's like, have a refreshing drink of Kit Kat. What? Wait, no, that's not how it's supposed to work.
It's just such a British, series of games as the theme stuff.
Oh yeah, they definitely are, especially with the references to old prime ministers and things like that, and even UK pop culture figures, as it turns out. So we're just getting the outdoor area now. Obviously you're going to want people to sit down somewhere, give them something to drink, make sure they don't die from the cold.
Don't forget the old magazines.
Oh no. Well, we assume the receptionist has those hidden away somewhere.
Put it right in front of the surgery door. I imagine that'll speed up productivity.
Oh, don't worry about it. We'll have a proper operating theatre running up before long. In fact, in the later levels, you're expected to have 2 or 3, depending. If you're playing on the hardest difficulty especially, you're going to need 3 surgeries going on at the same time. It's pretty intense.
I just love the idea of you putting radiators in the middle of the building for no reason.
Oh, trust me, these people are really, really finicky when it comes to central heating in this game. It's to a point where it's not entirely understood how it works. Because one of the main things about this game is that heating We're not sure whether it goes through walls or not. And there's nothing in the game to really indicate whether or not that's true, no matter how hard people have tried. So, usually just putting radiators everywhere we can is a good way to go. And here I've hired the wrong receptionist, so you know. I give it the old backhand out the door and I hired a better one.
That's a bit cruel, don't you think? Oh, you hired. Oh, by the way, you fired.
Receptionists are like the absolute bosses of theme hospitals. They don't need to go to the staff room, they never tire, they never complain about pay, they're the ultimate employee.
Did you accidentally hire a robot?
No, that's all receptionists. All receptionists are just robots, they just have like a serial number like tucked away somewhere.
Why do we even need doctors then? Just hire a fleet of receptionists. Okay, I'm rambling now. What's this room we're building here?
This is our research facility, and this will be very, very important if we want to cure many of the diseases that we'll be encountering in this particular playthrough. And since this is the last level, we're going to need a big one.
Oh, yeah.
So, we're setting up 6 desks here, and we're going to be putting a manner of computers here later on as well to help speed the research process along.
It looks like the fucking thing out of DuckTales, you know, where you select your level?
Yeah, true that. But yeah, also, every research room has to have an autopsy. And I don't think I need to tell you exactly how that goes now. Basically, it kills the patient in order to make more research.
Okay.
Just trying to work out exactly where to put my radiators for optimal heat coverage at this point. It's very, very important, because they will complain about this a lot, so radiator placement is probably one of the single most important things about making a room.
Yeah, don't want it too close to the balls, don't want it too far from the head.
Exactly. And I think it does actually work like that as well. They don't like a radiator right next to them.
Well, if they're going to keep complaining, just build the walls out of radiators.
And then they'll complain it's too hot, but probably only just. They seem to dislike the cold more than they do being too warm. So there we go. We're going to get all our researchers in there for now. The way I usually do this is I usually have everybody who I'm not in need of immediately in that research room. And then we're going to adjust all these things here and put it strictly into curing equipment.
Ah, okay. Is this that thing like in Theme Park where you can like research new rides and such?
Yep. Except this one's arguably more important because obviously you don't want to be sending too many of your patients home because you can't cure them.
Yeah.
We're also building another very important room called the training room. This is where you can put your consultants and many other junior doctors in and train them up to be versed in psychiatry, surgery, research, and eventually become consultants themselves. And here is where we're going to birth the ultimate doctor.
Nice.
We're going to have a consultant, psychiatrist, surgeon, and researcher all rolled into one, and then he's going to be our teacher for everyone else.
He can perform the penicillin Kamehameha and destroy any illness.
Yep, pretty much. And we're going to teach that to every doctor here.
Sweet.
But of course, there's going to be a bit of a waiting period for that. It takes a while to attain that level of power. You can't just scream your head off for 5 minutes and suddenly become Super Saiyan 3 after all.
I don't know, man. There's a precedent for that.
True, I suppose. And see, you can already see already the slicer has already been researched, so the researchers are already getting right in there. Just moving around the seating just so they can see what's going on.
Isn't Slicer a badnik from Sonic 2?
I believe it is, yes, but here it slices off tongues 5 times their usual size.
Dr. Robotnik, I guess this is where he got his start.
He became a doctor. In this very hospital. Is how it all began, you know. Now you're going to notice the game slowed down and speeds up a lot, and that's partly because this is a very micromanagement intensive game, especially at the later levels. If you want to save as much money as you can at the early points, sometimes it's worth just slowing down the game and speeding it back up again, just so you can like place more rooms or move your doctors about manually.
Ah, you crafty bastard.
Well, you have to do these sorts of things. And also I noticed I've left that bench just like in the middle of the entryway. And I still haven't moved it after all this time.
If you want to get into this hospital, you need to want it.
And here we go, we found our first disease, broken heart. The cause? Someone richer, younger, and thinner than the patient. So here we go, we're going to need 2 surgeons to open up the chest and gently mend the heart, whilst holding our breath.
I need 1 working Mega Drive and a CRT with Sonic 3 and Knuckles. Start.
So here we go, we don't have an operating theatre just yet, but we're about to fix that right now. And we're going to place it right here where our pharmacy, ward, and fracture clinic is. And I concentrated all these rooms into one place because that way all our nurses are kind of in one place and they can go to and from the rooms as need be. But of course, since the ward is there, we want to put the operating room here.
I'm just loving all the colours of this. I'm very easy to please, honestly.
It's a very colourful game, actually, and that's probably one of the things I like about it. It has an immense amount of charm, whilst having funny, albeit at times slightly dark humour.
Yeah, black humour.
Especially with some of the emergencies coming up. Oh, I think you'll love some of the ones that happen during the course of the game. I got a few, so plenty to show off.
I've tried not to skip through as much as possible. I may have seen a something or two, but I'm not going to say what it is.
Alright then. I'll just hope you haven't seen the really fun stuff. Obviously you want to put plants everywhere because, depending on how well your doctors works, depends obviously on how well qualified they are, but also what the room actually contains and how big it is and how light it is also dictates how well they perform. So having lots of windows, plants, and just a very big room is always very good.
Corrugated ankles!
Yeah, apparently you just drink a toxic blend of herb and spices and you straighten the ankles out. And apparently also Lawrence Nightingale wants to visit our hospital.
Who's that?
Lawrence Nightingale, I can't quite remember. I think it's something to do with Florence Nightingale or something like that.
Well, it fucking rhymes, so yeah, it must be.
Like, some of these things aren't always as obvious, but sometimes it's just literally a spin on the name to make it sound slightly different. So obviously we've got our psychiatry up and running at this point as well. Of course, we want to have people who are feeling a little bit poorly mentally to be catered to here. Plus you get quite a lot of money actually out of psychiatric treatment. And the bench is still there. It's the middle of June now and I still haven't noticed it.
Oh man, as long as the hospital's reputation is up there, who gives a fuck about a bench?
And we're at 600 now. The maximum is 1,000, and obviously the more popular a hospital is, the more people you get. Now, this side didn't really strike me as a disease. I would love the ability to breathe fire and shout loudly underwater, wouldn't you?
I don't really see any need for it, but shit, breathing fire is good in any situation.
But just think of how entertaining you'd be at the local family barbecue. You can literally grill a burger before you eat it.
Actually, I've always wanted to tell a blue whale to fuck off. Who the hell do they think they are, being so goddamn big?
Although I can see the drawback. I mean, they are made out of iron. They're going to be quite heavy. I mean, you don't want them down to your ankles by the time you're done with the day.
Sorry, is there a football match going on in the hospital somewhere?
No, that's to cheer whenever you have somebody get treated. And when you have a big hospital, it literally spams you with that sound. So, obviously it's nice to hear, but sometimes you just think, oh my god, shut up! Especially if the receptionist blaring at you. Oh, hold on, have I noticed it? Nope.
Oh, Volk, what do you like?
I'll need a standing ovation for when that thing finally gets moved.
I would love if I went to hospital for like any kind of procedure and afterwards I saw the doctors high-fiving themselves and then me. Fuck yeah, successful operation.
And then they drop the scalpel and it's just like, oops.
Oops, game over.
So obviously this consultant researcher we got over here at the moment is kind of darting between general diagnosis and the GP's office, because the hospital's quite quiet at the moment. Usually things don't pick up until after the year is done and you've picked up a couple of awards, so generally speaking you can run a hospital of 1 or 2 doctors whilst the rest just research shit for you.
I wonder if there's anyone out there who scouts what the best hospital is and tries to pile on the pressure, see if they can perform well.
Actually, it's interesting you say that, because there is a multiplayer mode in Theme Hospital, and one of the ways that they kind of make it competitive is that you're able to create garbage bombs and plant them in your opponent's hospital. And of course, if they have garbage everywhere, they're going to get rats. And if you have rats, you get epidemics. And when you have epidemics, you get fined lots of money.
And then death comes and it's all a bit of a downer.
Oh, we have an accident at Thatcher's chemical plant.
Oh,
there are
no.
4 people with infectious laughter we're going to need to cure within a time limit. So emergencies work how you get 4 people or more, potentially, coming in on a helicopter. And basically you see this little timer at the bottom left. That's how much time you have to cure all those patients. Otherwise, any remaining patients you have, just keel over and die right there.
Ooh.
So obviously if you only get like 1, 2, 3 or 4, usually you get like 1 or 2 if there's a surgery emergency. But usually some emergencies will call for about an average of 4 or 5. And you can usually tackle that with 1 room with a recently qualified doctor, but sometimes you get like 15 people with the same disease coming at you, and then you have to build multiple rooms just to facilitate it and make sure that not too many patients die.
I don't recall earthquakes in Theme Hospital.
earthquakes don't appear until about the early-ish mid-portion of the game. And earthquakes cause all your machinery to get damaged, so it's never really a fun thing. Especially if your machines are quite weak. The earthquake's pretty damn fierce, not gonna lie. See, even people are falling over. There we go, finally over. Now, sometimes earthquakes can cause a minimum amount of damage, but there'll be some times where the damage is so severe, if your machines are used enough, it'll actually cause them to explode. And the room will be derelict, and you cannot use it, you can't delete it, it is just, for all extents and purposes, an utter waste of space.
Ah, that's a shame.
And here's our loan giver there. And if you notice the guy in the top hat at the bottom there, that is Lawrence Nightingale.
I was gonna say, he's looking dapper.
Oh yeah, all the VIPs look exactly the same.
Oh.
Even like the Premiership footballers, who'd expect to be a little bit younger and a little bit leaner. And this is something that's going to happen a lot, especially with your handymen. People complaining about their pay. So obviously you've got to give them little bonuses to keep them happy and make sure they don't go seeking off other ventures like becoming a game designer.
Well, you put all the friggin' arcade cabinets there, mate. You're trying to, like, sway some people.
Oh, no. Well, I mean, obviously I'm trying to give them something to satiate their hunger, and then that way they won't want to leave my hospital.
Oh, yeah. Just put Kit Kat machines on every corner.
I could do with a drink of Kit Kat right now. So there we go. We have cured all 4 people who watched the Harry Potter video. That infectious laughter is something fierce.
You're a Dr. Harry. I'm a what?
Still haven't noticed that damn bench, and now it's August. I'm wondering, I can't quite remember exactly when I noticed that the bench is not where it should be, but it's going to be interesting to find out whilst this commentary is going on.
Like, everything else is picture perfect in the hospital, and, like, literally 1 second before the level ends.
It happened! Finally! The single most important thing in the game has happened. There we go.
The hypest bench moving on YouTube!
We are saved! So obviously we managed to deal with that emergency pretty damn well. We had plenty of time, but some of them are going to cut it pretty close, especially during this video.
I just wish my brain could move fast enough for all this micromanagement stuff. I tell you why I'm a little bit, like, out of my depth here. It's not because I don't know how the game works, it's because I don't think I ever moved beyond 1 building when I was playing, which indicates I didn't get very far in the game.
Yeah, usually you can buy multiple buildings in after the second mission, but you don't necessarily need to, is the thing. You can usually get by with just the building you're in, but
yeah.
After a while you do need that extra space if you want to fit everything in. And we just bought some more room here because we need some of our clinics. And clinics are a bit different from normal treatment rooms, because for one thing they're all machines, so obviously they're going to need maintenance. And they also all have a common theme that they cure diseases you can actually see visibly. So obviously the inflator room here is going to cure all our patients that have bloaty head, and well, you can imagine what bloaty head problem.
Oh, yeah, it's coming back to me now.
Yeah, bloaty head is one of the first, like, major diseases you end up curing, and you get the inflator in the first mission to deal with exactly that, but after a while you get, like, slack tongue, baldness, hairyitis, and all sorts of crazy stuff.
What's that called then, that hairyitis?
Oh, hairyitis, that is an interesting disease. But we'll have to wait until we get the electrolyzer to treat that disease. And there we go. When you complete an emergency, you get an award based on how many of the patients you actually managed to cure, and since we cured all of them, we got the maximum bonus.
You are a good doctor award.
Yes, well, I'd like to think so. It doesn't necessarily matter if you can't cure all the patients, because the bonus always depends on how many patients you're able to cure, not cure all of them and you get jack shit.
Yeah.
So you get a bit of a bonus on top of how much you normally get for treating them, so tackling emergency is a good way to get dosh early on. It just brings a big wave of patients in at once, and you can just earn a whole load of cash, which you can then use. So the way I'm building this hospital right now is that I'm trying to keep all the diagnosis and all of the treatment stuff somewhere separate, so that they're not all sort of like crisscrossing each other and causing potential for epidemics and things like that. It also makes it a bit easier to manage when things get hectic. There we go, there's our slicer. We're not going to be using that to shred the paper. We're going to be shredding some patients. Just the tongues, obviously.
I'm just enjoying the peppy little music.
Yeah, I did quite like the music, although it did get repetitive after a while, I'm not gonna lie.
Well, that's what edits are for, my good chap.
Oh yes, indeed, indeed. Yes, there is a certain manner of, oh yeah, you're motivated now. You're gonna build the best hospital and cure all the things.
So do you operate on kind of like a quadrant system, like we did in Theme Park, or do you just like put them wherever, really?
It's a bit difficult, really, because obviously all the buildings that you buy have a predetermined size already, so you kind of have to plan around what the predetermined layout of the actual building is, rather than, you know, just putting something here, there, and everywhere. But usually what I try to do is split diagnosis and treatment into separate areas and kind of go from there. And luckily in this mission they make it fairly easy, because your central place can be the reception and GP area, then you have the entire left side like dedicated to diagnosis, or the entire right side dedicated to treatment, or you could sort of like split it across, so you got some diagnosis and some treatment, and then you got another lot of diagnosis and some treatment on the other side. But the idea is that you want to have your patients moving around as little as possible, because if they spend too long in your hospital ill, they're going to eventually die just because you took way too long.
Oh, it's like the room was only 5 meters away, but fuck it, I'm just going to keel over now.
Yeah, pretty much. I mean, you've got to try and avoid that, because eventually what happens is that when a patient's close to dying, you'll get a little timer that slowly reveals a skull. Kind of like Nightmare, where you saw like the skin peeling off the face sort of thing.
Oh, you're speaking my language, mate.
And here we go, we discovered another disease. Can you guess what it is?
Transparency.
Apparently caused by licking the yogurt from foil tops of open pots. Luckily I was never a fan of yogurt, so I don't think I'm going to have that problem later in life.
Flesh is rendered see-through and horrible.
Well yeah, I mean, do you want to really see some of these innards?
No.
While they're walking around, of all things?
Ugh.
So, what we're seeing now is the end of the year thing. So, this is where you collect your awards, you see how you stack up compared to the other people, such as Waz and Gaza. Such British names. And here we go, we've already cured 28 people. Now, what's most unusual is that Jane's only cured 9 and yet has 46 visitors, so I don't know what the hell Jane's been doing this entire game so far.
They're just slipping cash to the officials.
Well, there we go. Well, we're not doing too well. We got minus 24,000, but that is partly because we took out a loan.
Ah, okay.
And here's our awards. Apparently our machinery wasn't maintained very well, but I blame the earthquake for that.
Well, no, he kept telling you to water the plants.
Well, yeah. I mean, I can't only do so many things at once here. And attaining value on the first year on the last level, like, nearly impossible to do. I've never been able to do it. We get $10,000 for not having a single person die this year, so, you know, that's pretty great. We're going to be able to pony up some cash for some upgrades or perhaps some more clinics. Like the jelly vat, for instance. But we needed a little bit more money for that.
What the hell is the jelly vat?
Well, you'll get some patients eventually that will come by with jellyitis, and obviously they're going to be all wibbly-wobbly, and we need to make sure we get that wibbly-wobbliness to stop. And what better way than the jelly vat? It is so advanced that not even the doctors and the people who built it entirely understand how it works.
I'm not really sure I'd like to be treated by a machine that's untested.
Well, it's not that it's untested, it's just that nobody really understands how it works. It just works.
It works on black magic, Avada Kedavra.
It works by some form of man-made sorcery. There you go, it's a nice simple room. All you need is a jelly vat, and there you go.
That's a fucking time machine, mate. You're not going to tell me otherwise.
Just suddenly wakens in the medieval era, but hey, at least I'm not made of jelly anymore.
Hey, they can deal with all your modern diseases. Have fun.
It's just like, hey, do you want to be cured of jellyitis and see the dinosaurs? Well, come to our hospital where we have the jelly vat time machine.
Well, technically, if a T-Rex eats you, you won't have to deal with the diseases anymore, so bingo bango, jobs are good.
But then again, being made of jelly in that situation may have actually been helpful, because, you know, a bit handy if a T-Rex is trying to chew on you and all they're getting is just, like, jelly stuff slipping through the teeth and all that.
What an odd tangent. Okay, what's up next, man? Oh my god, his head!
Yep, that is bloaty head right there. We're going to be seeing a lot more of that later on. There's an emergency coming up where we have to treat several people with bloaty heads, and as you can see, I am already preparing for it. One thing that always is a constant in this game, no matter how many times you play through, is that, usually speaking, the exact same emergencies will always happen at roughly the same time. So obviously the next emergency coming up is going to be the bloaty head one, so before that happens, I'm getting my rooms already set up, so then that way, I'm there, I'm ready. And it's usually handy to have a couple of clinics later on as well, because obviously, if you're getting a ton of patients, it's going to put a lot of strain, and having 2 rooms going on at once is going to keep the queues down. I thought that she was trying to push in then.
I'd be fucking no offense to anyone who has bloaty head disease, if you're even watching this video, but I'd be terrified if some balloon-headed guy came into my surgery.
It's just be like, he's going to explode at any minute, get him away from me. But obviously our GP wasn't quite able to work out what exactly is wrong with him. I mean, it seems fairly obvious.
Chronic nose hair.
I like how they describe the symptoms. Nose beard a badger can make a nest in. There we go, we fast forwarded a little bit. And here we go, the ultimate doctor has been created. Our consultant, researcher, surgeon, psychiatrist.
Fuck yeah, buddy.
He is good at all the things, and he is going to teach all of our doctors how to do the same thing.
We didn't press B on his evolution, he has reached max level, he is 36.
He is mega evolved at least.
Oh yeah.
Just like, the only difference is he's found some way to make the Mega Stone last forever. So there we go, we're just going to leave him to it and just make our legion of super doctors. So things are starting to pick up a bit now, our reputation's gone up a bit more. Obviously we want to get that nearest max, or if not max. We need 800 if we want to complete the game after all, so it's going to be important to be able to both gain and maintain that reputation.
Every time the guy starts talking about your handyman, my eyes kind of flicker and it seems like it's saying Hell Dragon.
Just like, this is an older Hell Dragon that they found a way to clone in all things handyman related.
We should totally cover the Sims at some point, make like the HFC crew and then fucking burn them.
Well, that might be something coming up at a later episode, you never know.
Yes.
Anything can happen, all PC games are out there and open to potential consideration.
Okay, so what's going on now, mate? Walk us through it.
So, what's going on at the moment is that we've kind of reached a bit of a lull. Obviously, there is a guy with boldness sitting right there. And, Billy Saville OBE wishes to visit our hospital. Well, obviously...
yeah, I'm good, thanks.
This is not really the same sort of thing as it was before, but, we're gonna let him in. He may give us a bit of dosh if our hospital is good enough for the job. We discovered discreet itching, and here is our bloaty head emergency. So this is where this portion of the video is going to be dedicated towards preparing for a mass exodus of bloaty head.
Oh yeah, come on, darkness and illness, I'll take you both on.
So we're looking for our consultants right now, and we're just seeing where our dudes are. So we got our research surgeon psychiatrist there, and we got another one here. Actually, I think on this one I keep my consultants working the rest of the hospital whilst I just pull a couple of guys out of training to kind of get their hands wet. You know, you gotta have a bit of practical excursion here and there to show them the ropes.
They've got to see bloodshed and war sometime or later.
So apparently the cause for boldness is telling lies and making up stories to be popular, so any bold people out there, you may want to rethink how you go about things.
Just become a completely different person and you'll wake up with a head full of hair.
Yeah, indeed. Or we can just take you to the old hair restoration here, and we can give you a magnificent head of hair, and you can continue being exactly who you want to be.
Or alternative treatment, describe them like Demoxynel or whatever the fuck that thing was in The Simpsons.
Oh, God. So here we go. Here's our boldness dude coming by. So apparently the hair restoration machine is a very painful process.
Doc, I'm so fucking bald. Is there anything you can do?
Yes, we're going to infuse hair onto you by way of heat transfusion.
My god, they turned him into Elvis.
Now, it's funny you should say that. There's something coming up later I think you'll rather enjoy.
Okay. Oh god, they're so bloated.
Oh my god. It's like an ego convention. So yeah, apparently the way to kill bloaty head, jam a needle in their skull, pop their head, and blow it back up again. Problem solved.
I think I may have like put that deep down in my memory bank to try and forget it.
Synchronized popping.
Jesus Christ.
My docs are on point. What can I say? So there we go. We discovered slack tongue at last, like a year or so after we built the clinic. So yeah. Talking of soap operas will make your tongue swell to 5 times its usual size. Also, I noticed like some kind of like handyman mating season going on here. They're all here when they don't need to be.
Go water some
It's
plants.
like a handyman to every square of space. And there you go. There is actual Elvis.
What? Wait, is he like under some kind of illness that makes him think he's Elvis, or is it actually Elvis?
Oh, it's a method of how he thinks he's Elvis, and obviously we would need psychiatric treatment if we want to cure him. But first, we need to figure out exactly what's wrong with him. We need to exactly see why this person is deciding to dress like Elvis, act like Elvis, and generally be Elvis.
Maybe he's just... What is that nurse doing just patrolling that empty corridor?
Well, because there's not a room for her to go in, so she's kind of on standby when somebody else gets too tired and needs to use the staff room.
Oh, okay.
So, obviously, we've exhausted our diagnosis, but we just can't tell what's wrong with him. So usually at this point you can either send a patient home, or you can get him to wait a bit and build more diagnosis rooms. So, we've got a spare diagnosis room we can build, so we're going to try and build it here, and see if he is willing to give it a shot so we can figure out what's wrong with him. Just making sure I have enough money to buy the plot of land I need.
Always a good thing.
We're going to put a few more of our clinics up here and more of our diagnosis rooms as we research them.
I haven't seen death come strolling through so far, so I think you're doing pretty good.
Yeah, I mean, I was pretty impressed actually how long I was able to stave off Death's evil hand. Although I think I did have a patient die whilst I was dealing with that bloaty head emergency, but lucky it was just the one.
Well, I'm surprised the patients don't die from the bloaty head cure.
You'd think just popping their head straight up would just be like instant death, but apparently not.
No, it's like the 5-second rule, so long as you blow it up within 5 seconds, they're all good.
It must be. I mean, they don't take very long, it's like 3 seconds and you're already inflated again.
Yeah.
There we go. We have built the cardio. Is he going for it? No. Elvis ain't getting on no treadmill.
He's all like, no.
No, I ain't getting on the treadmill. Now or any time. I'd rather eat a cheeseburger and sit on the loo and die.
I wish there was a bench here, just right here.
But we can't cure him, so we're going to send him home. Maybe somebody else can deal with him. Yeah, so we have an emergency for fake blood. I'm not entirely sure how that works.
What?
Yeah, apparently there is a psychiatric disease where people believe they have fake blood. So we just gotta tell them, look, mate, you're talking nonsense, and then that's it, they're cured.
Yeah, just give him a slap and send him home.
Oh, Elvis is back. He's coming in for another go.
He is officially in the building.
Everybody, get your autographs book ready.
Oh my god, the handymen sure are busy.
I like to try and keep them busy. I mean, I've got a lot of plants going around, so they're here, there, and everywhere.
They've got a lot of sirens to maintain, you know, above the people's heads.
Also trying to clear up the rubbish, because you don't want rats in here, or at least you want to try and avoid it as long as possible. So here we go! It is King's Complex! Caused by the spirit of the king entering the patient's mind and taking over.
Huh?
So to cure, just tell him how ridiculous he looks.
Yo, is this what King Knight is suffering from in Shovel Knight?
Yep, pretty much. We just need to send him here, put him in a psychiatrist, send him straight right away. So yeah, since we had about 8 people with fake blood come by, we had to build another psychiatry room.
Huh.
Somewhere up where our cardio is. And there we go, we've discovered hairy-itis. Don't know if you can see that rather hairy-looking man at the bottom there.
Oh, the manager wasn't looking very happy for a second, though.
Well, our loan has gotten quite substantial at this point. But here we go. Since we have our first bout of hairy-itis, we're going to start building our electrolysis room.
All those handymen just milling about there.
Yeah, it's really, really weird just how they seem to just keep congregating in this empty space and not actually do anything. Just like, there's places you could be, like watering a plant somewhere or cleaning up some rubbish, but why are you insisting on migrating to this wide open space here?
You should just make a greenhouse somewhere where they can go and be happy.
No, I think what I need is a breeding program, just so I can make more handymen.
The sight of just Elvis sitting there outside a treadmill room makes me laugh.
Well, I did want to go in there before, now he seems quite eager. There we go. Can we cure the king? It's like, look, mate, you look ridiculous. You gotta stop this. Alright, I guess I'll stop. I'm not gonna do this anymore.
Oh, he's cured.
He is normal!
Think about making a bit more cash flow.
Yeah, well, now we've got hairy-itis coming through. The hairy-itis patients pay very well. Apparently not everyone likes being Chewbacca.
Okay.
Apparently the alternative to being Chewbacca is being electrocuted. And there was a woman this entire time. It's just weird because he had like a full beard and curly mustache going on and everything. It's just like, nope, woman.
I wonder how the consultants feel about being picked up by the hand of God and shuffled around the hospital.
Apparently they seem to be okay with it, although I have a reason to believe if you do it too much, they'll actually get mad at you, and they'll either ask for a pay rise or they'll just leave.
Yeah, I don't particularly like being manhandled by a ferocious deity, thank you very much.
But look at the smiley face it has, surely that can't be all bad. Plus, it's like having teleportation, and who doesn't want teleportation powers? So there we go, we can pay off our loan gradually now. It's going to take us a while to pay us off completely, but we're getting at a point now where we're making enough money where we can gradually start paying it off, and here's our jelly man.
Whoa.
It looks a bit trippy, doesn't it?
It's like he's phasing in from another dimension.
Just like, help! I'm trapped in Dimension Q!
So, obviously the final mission of the game is pretty hard. Is there any, like, specific missions that stick out in your mind from playing through the game?
I'd say the second to last one, because it kind of introduces you to the last couple of bits in the game, but it does so in a reasonable manner in an interesting way as well. But the last level generally has everything, so this will always be one that sticks out to me.
Okay.
But obviously the first level is kind of iconic in its own right, so
yeah.
I'd say between the first and the last.
It was just like setting up your initial hospital, getting all the doctors and nurses in, and just creating like a well-rounded kind of surgery. Just gives me warm feelings in the cockles of the heart.
That's what I quite like about this game, how it just introduces everything gradually, and then it just at the end goes, okay, we've shown you everything, now here's the ultimate mission for you, get it done.
Yeah, well, is that an invisible man?
That is an invisible man. Unfortunately, we can't do anything for him, so we're going to have to send him home.
Well, we can't see him! How are we supposed to treat him?
He has a hat and glasses.
Volk. Volk.
I'm sorry, but
What are the standards at this fucking hospital?
there are none.
Okay, that explains a lot.
Here we go. We've discovered jellyitis. Obviously, a very jelly-heavy diet and lots of exercise is going to cause that. So, obviously, if you're doing lots of exercise, don't eat a mountain of jelly.
Oh, man.
Otherwise, you have to come to my hospital and I have to put you into jelly vat.
Well, whenever I used to be at my grandma's house in the 90s, we'd have jelly and ice cream, and good job I didn't contract jellyitis.
Well, you didn't. If you didn't exercise, you're probably safe.
Yeah. Oh. No comment.
That's alright, I'm pretty sure I was in that same situation. I mean, my grandparents used to own a fish and chip shop, and you can imagine how much of a nightmare that must have been for me.
Dude, fucking fish and chips on a Friday night, hell yes.
Well, I could get them for free any day I want, and there's a beach literally right next to me I can take them to.
Okay, you win. Good for you.
Sorry, but during my youth I did live a bit of a high life for a while.
Whatever floats your boat, mate. Alright, what's up next?
So, we've just cured jellyitis, and we're moving our doctors around because now the hospital's getting a bit busy. We kind of need to make sure our doctors are stationed a bit more permanently. And, obviously, we get to see how the jelly vat works. Here's a skeleton for you, and we're just going to mould you into it. There you go, jellyitis cured.
That's a fucking womp strip. Do you know what I'm talking about?
No, I do not, but it sounds hilarious.
It's like $56 every time we have to turn on this machine.
Oh my goodness. I'm just wondering where to get the spare skeletons from.
Ugh.
Yeah, you don't want to think about that one too much, do you?
Unfortunate implications.
Well, we gotta make sacrifices somewhere for the sake of curing the diseases, the many unusual diseases.
Yeah, we're number 1.
In the Hall of Shame. Which means we're not the most shamed.
We're number 9.
We are the least shamed, but the second to least famed.
Hey, but we got the most value.
Oh yeah, we're very good value. We're like 3 times the value of most people. And again, machines. Not sure what it is.
They're too busy with the fucking plants.
Well, I hired a few handymen to try and manage the machines a bit better, but apparently it's not enough. Maybe if they weren't all migrating in this empty space somewhere, maybe they'd get maintained.
I'll just open the windows and let them fly south.
But then I won't have any handymen! Actually, another thing you notice, this is the second year, and I still haven't built a toilet.
Huh?
I'm not sure how I managed to get away with that.
How did you, like, overlook that?
It's not that I overlooked it, it's just that I didn't really think it would be necessary, honestly.
Yeah, have you never visited a person in hospital? There's like two things you look out for. Number one, vending machines, of course, because you want a nice drink when you go there. Number two, toilets.
Yeah, but if they did complain about it, then it obviously means it don't need it, so I have omitted it for the time being, but I do eventually build one.
That's a very risky move, that is. Just waiting for the silent majority to kick in and tell you about it.
Well, you'd think so, but also the toilet stops people from throwing up constantly if they're overly sick, so I've avoided that at the very least.
Oh.
Being bitten by a radioactive and invisible ant, does this remind you of a certain origin story?
It's quite, yes.
Invisible man, pulling pranks everywhere he can. Has a hat and a fancy cane. And I can't really work out the rest of the lyrics from there, so feel free to fill in however you want.
It's alright, you're a doctor, not a poet.
Oh, that is absolutely correct, Jim. So the hospital seems to be running pretty damn smoothly. We've got lots of clinics.
And then a volcano.
Suddenly, volcano eruption, and then an earthquake happens. And then all the machines explode. Actually, a funny thing about this is that whilst I was doing one of my practice runs, I literally had an earthquake that caused every single one of my machines to explode.
Damn.
It was absolute chaos. I'm pretty sure at least 3 doctors died. And it was just, well, I'm royally screwed now because an entire building's worth of rooms just got destroyed irreversibly.
That's an act of God. You can't blame me, the doctor, for that.
Oh, nope. The invisibility potion didn't work, yet it did. And there he is.
Wait, hang on, go back. Is that a fucking gateway to hell?
Yeah, and there's the Grim Reaper right there. He's getting ready to take him down. He's going to the highway to hell. I
seem to remember him being a lot creepier in the PS1 version.
He could well have been. Maybe it's something to do with the resolution. He looks a bit tiny in the PC version. So we've actually got quite a few consultant researchers, surgeons, psychiatrists running around now, so our hospital is pretty well equipped, although eventually we will literally be hiring junior doctors for the sake of filling out the rooms while people rest. And that's partly because we're making so much money. I mean, why not?
The maintenance required everywhere, dearie.
Oh yeah, look at that. So many machines close to just keeling over completely, but luckily we managed to avoid complete destruction.
Good job we've got Scruffy's 1 through 64, you know?
That's true. Although one thing that always struck me as odd. Aren't all of these people suffering from baldness?
Huh.
Like, if this was in any way in real life, if there was a hair restorer and we had this many bald doctors, the queue for the hair restorer would be going outside of the front entrance. Oh, there's a mysterious green man in our hospital.
Oh, I think I saw this earlier.
Yes, that is serious radiation. As you can imagine, it's quite serious. Oh, and there's our dying patient. Nobody's dying on my watch. You can go home and die somewhere else.
Well, the Grim Reaper literally just took someone to hell.
Yeah, we don't want that. Plus, if they don't die in your hospital, it doesn't count as a death against you, so...
If I can't see you, it doesn't count.
Exactly. That's literally how it works, though, is the crazy thing. You could literally just send them home and it doesn't count for a death of you at all.
Should we put that contagious radiation guy in quarantine somewhere?
You'd think so, but apparently it's fairly safe. We say. Incoming epidemic where everybody suddenly has serious radiation. So obviously we need to deal with this guy, because, you know, glowing green is never good for the digestive system, I imagine.
It's a nice colour, not so much on humans.
Nah, that is absolutely true.
I thought you were building a room to trap that one handyman for a second.
This is gonna be like my bird cage. I'm just gonna capture 2 handymen and just perpetually make more via osmosis or something.
Yeah, this really is The Sims.
There we go. That is our decontamination room, or the anti-radiation shower, as it is also known. It looks pretty immense. I mean, if I had serious radiation and I saw that thing, I'd feel slightly intimidated, honestly.
Yeah, every piece of machinery in this hospital looks futuristic, and I suppose that was, like, the thing they were going for, to make it, like, very cartoony and comical, and it works.
I mean, if you got an outrageous disease, all you need to cure is an even more outrageous-looking machine.
Yeah.
So there is one more clinical disease we'll have to deal with, and we won't run into that one until a little bit later on, but it's coming. Those of you who have played through Theme Hospital before will know exactly what I'm talking about.
Well, until that comes around, what are some of your most fond memories of Theme Hospital? I asked you about, like, levels in particular, but just, like, straight-up memories.
I just absolutely love this game, and I can't honestly stop playing it even today. I mean, I may still not be very good as far as the final level goes, but there's nothing even out today that can replicate the kind of level of just fun, humour, and sheer ridiculousness that Theme Hospital was able to provide. I mean, in the case of Theme Park, eventually Roller Coaster Tycoon rolled around, and that kind of improved on that experience, but with Theme Hospital, there's absolutely nothing. I'm going to have to interrupt you there because there's been another incident at Thatcher's chemical plant. And, yeah, alien DNA.
Oh, boy.
Nothing quite causes a stir like having your complete genetic makeup altered on the spot.
Yes, well, let's interrupt you, Volk, and go live to the scene now.
Yep, here we go. So obviously with the DNA fixer, this is going to be the room you'll need to treat this. And to be honest, alien DNA only ever comes in emergencies, so you don't need to set up a permanent room if you don't want to. Literally what you can do is what I'm doing here, is just set up a temporary room somewhere, cure all the patients, then sell the room for the money you got it for, and then you end up with like $20,000 more than what you came out with.
Sweet.
Like, the room itself is really expensive. Like, the room itself is $20,000. So, it's a very expensive room, but as you can imagine, high-tech, you're literally altering someone's genetic code here. I mean, it's not going to come cheap.
I want to see the aliens.
In a minute, we gotta have Rocket Ruddy Jepson visit our hospital as well first.
Okay, who's that meant to be?
I cannot honestly remember. I think there's somebody in real life called Rocket Roddy or something like that. Like, some of these references are a bit obscure to me, although people who perhaps existed around the 1960s or something may know. Here we go. Here come the aliens.
Whoa!
They kind of look like chess pieces.
You weren't kidding.
Yeah, that's quite an alteration compared to what a human should normally look like.
I don't recall stalks on my forehead, I can tell you that much.
Just this one eyeball is sort of like a telescopic limb.
Get the handyman to stop playing pool and water these guys.
Well, they need to rest up as well. I mean, eventually, if you don't let your staff rest, they do go crazy.
That's why we clone these guys. They don't need to rest.
No, they can't quite all be on the same ilk as the receptionist, unfortunately.
Can we get, like, an escort for these guys? I feel like they're going to start taking over the hospital.
It could well be. They could be asking for cures or also take over the world. That's, like, the whole, deal they have here. We managed to cure the alien disease, and we also make them a couple of feet taller, so, you know, wins all around, I suppose. Now, the other thing with the, DNA fixer is that you actually need a researcher to operate this room. So, apart from the research facility, this is also the only other room that actually requires a researcher in order to function.
Ah, so the other machines can just be done automatically.
Yeah, obviously your surgeons can only use the operating theatre, your psychiatry rooms can only be used by a psychiatrist, and things like that. But, yeah, research room I think is the only room that actually requires 2 rooms to operate. So obviously you got the research facility and you got the DNA fixer.
Okay.
We got the blood machine as well. We'll be building that way later on in the game. Like, I didn't put a huge focus on diagnosis because I wanted all the treatment stuff first, so I don't actually build most of the diagnosis room until nearest the end.
Okay.
But then again, we'd be getting by fine with our GP's office, diagnosis, and the treadmill here.
Oh wait, I just remembered something. In the de-balloonifier room or whatever, there had to be a doctor there to use the machine. Can you just clarify what the difference is between that and the DNA thingamabobber?
Well, the inflator room can be used by any doctor. Like, they don't need a specific qualification.
Ah, okay.
What sets the DNA fixer apart is that you need a specific specialty in order to operate it.
Yeah.
So there we go. We sold the DNA fixer and immediately made like $35,000, and that paid off most of our loan. So now we can fast forward to a bit later where we've put some of that money to use. So we've begun with the training room. Now we have the training academy.
Fuck yeah, buddy. Get into those books.
The only training room to have its own library. So we're just going to fill this up with a few junior doctors and we're going to really set our teacher to work. training up your doctors at the later point is honestly the only way you'll be able to get some even remotely qualified doctors in your hospital, because eventually what you can hire gets lower and lower. So obviously at the start of the year you might get some really qualified doctors and consultants, but then as you can see here, pretty much every single doctor is a junior, which means they're going to be slow, they're going to be sluggish, and they're not going to be nearly as effective at diagnosing and treating stuff.
Can't even survive a single hailstorm of fire. Pathetic.
I know. Well, we gotta train their bodies and their minds if we are to complete this.
This could be the cafeteria.
This is going to be the... Actually, funny thing is, I only wanted to make this like a secondary staff room, but it ended up becoming more of the primary staff room after a while. And you'll probably see why in a second. Not only is it bigger, but I generally managed to fit more in the space provided.
Just looking at the angle here, it looked like you were... Yeah, you've put more stuff like in front of the doors.
Yeah, it's a bit tricky. I mean, obviously it's an isometric game, but you can't rotate, which is a bit weird. They didn't actually introduce that until a fair bit later on in gaming.
Oh wait, no, that's the window. Sorry, I didn't even see the door though.
Oh, right. Getting your windows and doors mixed up. It's easy enough to do. I mean, they are pretty big windows. You can probably climb through them.
And now you know why I couldn't run a hospital.
You can probably just put windows in all the rooms. No way to get in. You have to just climb through. This is going to be like the quiet seating area away from the TV. Well, that's what I decided in my head, at least. So yeah, like I said, this actually became the primary staff room after a while, because it is very ample, and it has many a fun thing available.
I don't think we need 2 pool tables. I think that's a little bit excessive.
I know, with the amount of staff we have, you want to make sure that you have a pool table open at least for somebody, because otherwise you're just going to have one person using the pool table and people queuing up to use it.
And you've got to have your doctors like de-stress every once in a while.
Yeah, absolutely. You don't want them to go crazy and start tearing the hospital apart after all.
So we're coming to like the end of the final level now. Are you just like prepping for like some big disease that's incoming?
No, at this point we've actually seen all of the diseases in the game. Obviously there are some that tend to get missed out, so obviously you've got things like kidney beans and things like that, but at this stage in the game we have discovered every disease. So there's nothing here that's new to us, we just need to make sure we diagnose them correctly and get them to where they need to be. And there's one room we are missing, however. But we need a bit of a loan first, so we're going to finally provide these toilets, so hopefully anybody who was secretly needing to use the bog will be appeased by this addition.
The handymen have just been doing their job and transporting craps out of the hospital secretly.
They just sort of like follow people with like a bag or something. It's not a clean job, but someone's got to do it.
Well, we get paid well, better than the doctors in fact, that's why they're always so fucking unhappy.
Now here I was trying to decide whether I wanted just one big toilet or if I wanted to preserve some room for another GP's office, because obviously once we reach this point in the game, there's going to be a lot of people coming in, and they all have to go to the GP's office first and foremost. So getting more than one GP's office is, in the later stages of the game, it's almost mandatory, because otherwise you're going to have people queuing up forever, they're going to leave your hospital because they're fed up, or they may just decide to die, which is never good for anybody.
How stubborn. So are these like unisex bathrooms or what?
Yep, they are unisex bathrooms. But then again, they are nicely closed off. Well, you know, except for that one piece of the circle sort of like stuck by, so you can sort of peek your head around and go, hello!
Hello!
So taking a dump? Yep, I am too. Wow, we have so much in common. We should be friends.
Damn, this is a long video.
Yeah, I know, right? But it seems to have gone by quite quickly, honestly.
Yeah, honestly, I find these kind of things really chill.
But in real time, I would say this level took me about 5 hours. It was not short by any stretch of the imagination, and a lot of it is just usually waiting for the last few cures and the last bit of money to come in to be able to complete the game, because obviously you need to earn $750,000, and that takes a while. And curing patients, that usually comes naturally, but it still takes a bloody long time.
That's why I just wanted to, you know, in Spot of PC, just have bits and pieces of various games that otherwise would be kind of a long and monotonous sort of let's play or playthrough, you know?
Yeah, exactly. When you get to that point in the game, it is literally just a waiting game, but you can't just speed through it either, because Otherwise, things just get out of control. Your doctors aren't where you want them to be, your handymen are off somewhere just doing nothing, everyone's puking on the floor, there's mass hysteria and death everywhere, and then you just lose because you were impatient and just decided to put it to ultra speed.
Oh.
I don't think I ever touched ultra speed, actually, when I was playing through it. It's a tempting prospect, but the potential consequences aren't worth it at all.
Too fast for you, Volk?
Well, not all of us can handle going into plaid. It takes a special kind of someone to handle ludicrous speed.
Yeah, he just keeps rapping at you. It's not cool.
So we got a nice little hospital going here at the moment. I was actually really pleased by how this turned out. I was honestly expecting things to go absolutely tits up at one point or another, but aside from the odd death here and there, I actually handled this mission really well.
Oh yeah, that old chestnut. Death. People shuffling off the mortar coil.
Oh yeah, I mean, well, at least death keeps busy, I suppose, you know.
Okay, my eyes are playing tricks on me in this video. I thought that said your machines have started to dehydrate, and you need the handyman to water them.
Quick, give him the Kit Kat machine! And we also discovered a rare consultant. Now, I did say that you usually end up with just junior doctors, but sometimes, once in a blue moon, you will get that one person who is extremely qualified, and those are the people you may want to look out for, because they can keep your hospital running whilst your juniors are being trained up.
Oh.
Because obviously it takes a while to go from junior to consultant, so obviously you need some people to run the place while that's going on.
Yeah.
And obviously once the floodgates open and those junior doctors are unleashed upon the world, you're pretty much sitting pretty.
Just kind of doing the hospital-y thing right now.
We're doing the doc shuffle.
You can go here.
So yeah, we improved the research room a bit as well. As you can see, we got a couple of fancy computers and also the atom analyzer.
Is that green thing in the middle?
Yep. Because, you know, we gotta split some atoms occasionally to improve our machines.
Yeah, just make it seem like we're doing something, really.
I mean, it does look a bit, how do we say, Mattel.
Yeah, a little bit.
The new Fisher-Price atom analyzer.
Oh god, the hospital's split in half.
It's like, quick! Man the machines! That's a very slow earthquake. I forget how slow the earthquakes actually are when you say it to the slowest speed. It's like slow-mo earthquake, and you're trying to move the camera, but the earthquake jitters it back to where it was. So one time where fighting with the camera is actually something that's used effectively.
This is a very melancholy portion of the final level, just waiting for things to be over, trying to win through attrition at this rate.
Yeah, pretty much. You just gotta endure at this point.
You versus death, and wait, what do we say to the god of death? Not today.
No, absolutely not. Get your diseases out of my sight, and give me your money whilst you're at it. So obviously our value's doing very well as well. 203,000, although we need another 50,000, I believe, at that point, to get ourselves up to winning point.
The No Croak Award. Nice.
Fast forward about 2 hours later, and I finally meet all the criteria needed to win the level. So all I gotta do now is survive the end of the year, and we're good.
Nice. So I guess we should start wrapping up then. Theme Hospital, Volk.
Absolutely amazing game. As of yet, nothing's come close to duplicating or bettering what it offers, and I would honestly recommend it to anyone. It still stands to this day. It's incredibly funny. It's a satisfying challenge that ramps up periodically. There's honestly not much bad I can say about this game.
Yeah. Now, Theme Park and Hospital were envisioned as kind of like part of a two-part kind of episode dealio. So, I guess we could recommend for both of them. I think they're on Good Old Games, aren't they?
Yeah, both of these are on GOG, and they've been optimized for later operating systems as well, so it doesn't matter if you have a ridiculously powerful computer that can no longer run like these old Windows 98 games and things like that. GOG will optimize it all for you, so if you want to give it a shot, I'd strongly recommend checking it out. I mean, they are old games, yes, but they are still quite finely polished gems, even to this day.
And for episode 3, I think we're going to change up the genres a little bit, because we didn't mean to have two sim games in a row, like I said, two-part dealio. But I think we're going to do an FPS next time, aren't we, Volk?
Yep, we're going to be looking at Doom next, and obviously I played Doom and Duke Nukem back in the day as well, so Doom seems like a good game to cover, honestly.
Oh, hell yeah, BFG, motherfucker.
Oh, big hairy giant. Sorry, I got a bit distracted because I just noticed the hairy man, and I thought, yeah, big hairy giant.
Big furry giant, I think you'll find.
Well, that works too. So here we go, we reached the end of the year, so we're going to cue the victory music at this point.
Bring it on!
Still didn't manage to get anywhere near the top of the Hall of Fame, though. That's how unforgiving this game is.
Hey, mate, we strive for mediocrity and we hit that marker. It's all good.
I noticed we only got 7 deaths as well. I'm very impressed with that.
One for each of the deadly sins. I can dig it.
But yeah, this was a pretty difficult final level to do, especially when you've all got the pressures of recording on you, but it was still very, very fun, and I'm glad to be able to put this out there on HFC.
Nicely edited too, mate. Thank you very much.
There we go. You have proved yourself to be the best hospital administrator in medicine's long and checkered history. Such a momentous achievement cannot go unrewarded. So I'd like to offer you the post of Supreme Chief of all hospitals.
Wow.
This is an honorary job and comes with a salary of $83,000. You'll be given a ticket tape parade, and people will show their appreciation wherever you go. Thank you for all you have done, and may you enjoy a long, semi-retirement.
And may the force be with you.
Our doctor looking very happy for himself. He looks a lot more innocent now he's not holding the chainsaw in his hand.
Yeah, these people will never know my dark secret. Okay, guys, we'll see you next time for another episode of NTom and Volk's Spot of PC. Bye for now.
See you later.
God damn, those were fast credits.
Yeah, don't blink or you miss them.